I'm Jay Prazo, an adult and teen service librarian here at Fountaindale Public Library. And today I'm covering The Cult of WeWork, Adam Newman, and The Great Startup Delusion by Eliot and Maureen Farrell. This was published this year, and it's still in our new book section, as you can tell from the sticker. Now, the book follows the titanic rise and fall of the company WeWork. Its eccentric founder, Adam Newman, and the Silicon Valley investor culture that led to the whole mess surrounding the company, and many like it. Now, this is covered by New York Times correspondents Eliot and Maureen Farrell, who documented and exposed many of the company's dealings and eventual downfall. Now, this once humble office-based company eventually grew to being, I think it was $47 billion in valuation before crashing spectacularly. Now, a lot of the book is on Newman and how he was able to woo investors with his lofty dreams of an everything company, basically selling it as more of a software company, even though they were selling office space. And his stated goal of trying to reach a $10 trillion in valuation. Now, some of his antics include offering employees and members a full-fledged annual concert known as Summerfest, or Summer Camp. He bought a wave pool company, potentially as a way to give value to members, maybe just he wanted to buy it, offering unlimited beer for employees, and then frequent insane parties. And this, as well as many other cases, it was just poor management and constant reckless behavior, which he somehow kept the company going for 10 years before finally was found out as being worth much less than its valuation was. Now, the biggest tragedy in all this is that the company was initially profitable under the original model. It was the first pilot test was a company known as Green Desk, which was not also office space, but was much smaller and just focused on providing a green space for businesses. And that originally worked. Now, if Newman had stopped the insane growth rate, maybe the company could have done a lot better. He was very, very obsessed with the idea of becoming very rich, famous, and just being the founder, like Apple. A lot of investors and people got really up at the idea of finding another Steve Jobs, a wonderkind, brilliant founder who would completely change the market, revolutionize the world, and just make exponential amounts of money. And there were a lot of other cases like that. I think before WeWork finally fell, there was also Theranos, the blood testing company. Very similar situations. Investors being wooed by a charismatic founder when the business model itself had no real value because the blood test didn't work at all, which could have potentially hurt a lot of people if they ever went to full-blown marketing. I find this story much more endearing because it's just about a bunch of people who were just wooed by a very grand idea and were very dumb with lots of money. Now, with many corporate disasters, from mismanagement, false promises, and sketchy behavior, you may expect someone would have gone to jail by the end of this. You assume wrong. We read one passage that just sums the whole thing up in a very nice way. The SEC, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the New York Attorney General's office all opened inquiries, peppering WeWork with questions on topics ranging from how it described compensation to potential employees to details involving ARK. Now, none of these investigations seemed to keep much momentum, as executives at WeWork believed they were unlikely to result in any disciplinary action. In the end, it seemed WeWork's implosion wasn't caused by fraudulent deception of investors. It was a large-scale delusion, all in plain view. Now, after all this, they were still, and after Newman was kicked out of the company, they were still in business. But, and then for a while they would finally look like a reasonably managed company. And then 2020 happened. And suddenly no one wants to be in an open-air office surrounded by a bunch of strangers. But here we are in late 2021. They are still around, and I think they went public last month. So they're down the stock exchange. You can buy shares of them if you want. But that basically concludes the story of WeWork as a phenomenon. Now, if you'd like to hear about this whole charade in more detail, I'd highly recommend you check this book out. We have it available in print, of course, also available as an ebook and audiobook through Libby. That's all I have for today. Make sound business decisions and have a good day.